assault on its military facilities while signaling support for a ceasefire to halt the ongoing conflicts in Gaza. Rapper Lil Durk has been detained in South Florida on charges linked to an alleged murder-for-hire scheme, according to the Broward County Sheriff's Office.
Lil Durk, legally known as Dirk Devontae Banks, is currently in the custody of the U.S. Marshals Service, as records indicate.
Tropical Storm Trami has caused at least 126 fatalities and displaced 500,000 people as flooding and landslides swept through the northern Philippines on Thursday and Friday.
Trami, the 11th storm to hit the Philippines this year, reached the islands on Wednesday.
More than 120 people have died and another 200 were wounded following an assault by a paramilitary faction on a rural village in Sudan, marking one of the deadliest incidents in the 18-month-long conflict.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host or guest and should not be interpreted as statement of fact. Independent fact-checking and corrections are encouraged.
Can we get a cup of coffee in here, please?
Damn good coffee and hot.
My dog is your mind's best friend. My dog is your mind's best friend.
Wake up, America. You've got a dog that needs walking. That's right, sunshine. Just put on a big pot of strong coffee and get ready to type your little hate mail with your opinions about kumbaya and flat earth insanity. Stand-up comedy? You want stand-up comedy? Well, we've got sit-down comedy.
You know what?
It's time for coffee with a dog. You make me laugh.
Laughing is not on the agenda. Hopefully, the Ron Kane will do something disgustingly funny. You really can't count on the other two. The other two just like they're going to be looking for low-hanging fruit, puns, wordplay. What I really need is somebody who's going to say, I don't know, you know what Ron says, those kind of things. Good morning, folks. It's Monday. You know what? It doesn't matter what day it is. It's Monday, October 28th, 2024. Just another day while we count down Putin's victory over the United States of America. Yeah, this is what he wanted. This whole, division, the fighting, the constant anger, outrage, and just stupidity. America has become very stupid. Yesterday was, a rally at Madison Square Garden that MAGA had planned for quite some time. Now, the headline in the Daily News, New York Daily News, is Trump's MSG party turns into a racist rally. Well, good for them for calling it what it is, a racist rally, but turned into suggests that it wasn't meant to be that right from this jump, right from the concept. The minute they said, let's have a rally at Madison Square Garden, it was racist to begin with. It was a tribute to the America First rally, which supported the Nazis in the 30s. That's what it was. It was always intended to be a racist rally. Sid, I think his name is Bernstein, I can't remember, Sid from Imus in the Morning, who was one of the guys who helped get Imus fired with the nappy-headed hose comment. He was a speaker there. What is Sid's last name? Sid, whatever. Sid is, he called it a Nazi rally from the podium. And they laughed. Yeah, all the Nazis are here. They're all happy to acknowledge that, but don't call us Nazis. Don't call us Nazis. Don't call us racist. But we're going to honor Nazis and fill it with racism. Fill the Madison Square Garden with racism. But don't call us. And don't call us a cult, even though we act like a cult. The more they don't want people to call them what they're acting like, the more they act like what people are calling them. Tony Hinchcliffe, if you live under a rock, Tony Hinchcliffe made some really bad jokes. I say bad not because they were racist, because listen, I say racist stuff here all the time, and hopefully it's meant for to kind of make people laugh about the racial tension that we have. If I step over the line and somebody says that was really bad, I'm quick to acknowledge it and apologize for it, and for anybody I hurt with my words. Tony Hinchcliffe, on the other hand, and this is epidemic in comedy right now, the idea that I don't care who I hurt, I should be allowed to say whatever I want. Not true. Not true. Yeah, we have freedom of speech, but you have to be accountable for what you say. And if you hurt people, you should really take a look at maybe you didn't say the right thing. Now, Tony Hinchcliffe's first racist joke of the day, didn't even go over well with the Nazis. They kind of moaned and groaned, and he had to kind of do that thing from the pulpit, from the stage. Oh, let me explain. No, it was a bad joke, and so his response was to say these people have no sense of humor. Listen, if your crowd, your fans, your people aren't laughing at your joke, it's not because these people have no sense of humor. It's that you made a bad joke. Own it. Own it. Now, to be fair to Hinchcliffe, I don't know Tony Hinchcliffe, but I know people who do. I have friends that know him very well, and we've discussed the potential of him being racist before. I don't know if you remember, but it was about probably 2 years ago now that he had a Chinese comedian who was opening for him and had been opening for him on the road. And he did a show in Austin where the Chinese comedian introduced him, and Tony came on stage and said, "How about that fucking chink, hey?" And that hurt the guy. Now, the guy was quick to post that on social media and try to use it as to step up his own career. Like, look at me, get attention for himself. Tony Hinchcliffe just called me this racist epithet. So he wasn't all that innocent in the stuff that was called. But we did discuss Tony's racism, and everybody who knows Tony came to me, or who I know who knows Tony, came to me and said, "No, that's not who he's not. He didn't say that to be mean. He has been friends with this guy for over a year. They took the guy on the road. He was just trying to be funny. Now, maybe it didn't work, but a lot of people in the club laughed at that line, by the way. I don't remember the guy's name. It doesn't matter. Many people were coming to Tony's defense a year ago and saying he's not racist. I can believe that in his heart he's not a hateful person. But keep in mind, when they say read the room, you're playing a Nazi rally at Madison Square Garden for Donald Trump in an election that's coming up next week. And the room is that big, but it's also got cameras there, and it's going to be broadcast on every social media and every kind of internet outlet immediately. Read the room. The room is gigantic. The room is 6 billion fucking people. So it's not like this. It's not like I'm goofing around with 3 of my friends. And not to excuse racist stuff. I have said some pretty racist stuff, but I think most people, again, know it's not, hate in my heart. And if I hurt people, I am pretty quick to acknowledge it was a bad joke. I made a bad joke. That's all I'm asking from Tony Hinchcliffe. I don't want to see him canceled. I think he's getting. It was a poor choice to go open for Donald Trump, and I do hope that forever he's remembered as the guy who opened for Donald Trump at his Nazi rally. But I don't think he should be canceled because of it. And again, I don't know him, but enough people have vouched for the fact that he's not a hateful person that I tend to be willing to forgive as long as he comes out and asks for forgiveness. And this is the thing with radical forgiveness. You can forgive a lot of stuff, but people have to admit first that they've done wrong. They've made a mistake and need forgiveness and or ask for forgiveness. He comes back with, no, it's your fault for not having a sense of humor. What he said was not funny, not to anybody. It wasn't funny even to his best friends. And this is some of the people I'm talking about, who I'm not going to name by name, but I know people who are very close with him who didn't think it was funny in the least. It came off as mean, came off as bigoted, and whatever you want to put on, racist and all that kind of stuff. But this attention they're getting is the reason they did this rally. They love this. They love it. And I am just, I'm sick and tired of having to be constantly at war with my fellow Americans over something so worthless as one individual, one petty, the worst frigging example of a human being walking the planet, and we're fighting over him constantly. I pray, and I'm praying to nothing, because I'm no longer, I no longer have any faith or belief at all in anything bigger than us. But I'm hopeful, let's just say, that he loses the election, gets sentenced, goes to jail, and the Republican Party somehow, somewhere in the distance, the Kool-Aid wears off, and they start to rebuild in the mold of old school Dwight D. Eisenhower conservatism. That's the rant. Today we're brought to you by Daily High Club, and boy, do I ever need to get high daily after this shit. When we come back, we'll meet the dog pound.
With humble East Coast beginnings in 2015, Daily High Club is the premier destination for glass water pipes, vaporizers, and consumption accessories. If you're looking to elevate your smoking game to the next level, you're in the right place. With over 1 million top-quality smoking products sold, and with a growing base of over 10,000 monthly subscribers worldwide, we deliver the ultimate smoking experience. But Daily High Club is not just a retailer, we're lovers of the smoking scene ourselves, working with giants like Tommy Chong, Snoop Dogg, Chanel West Coast, and more. Ready to join the Daily High Club? Let our experts curate your collection with our awesome El Primo monthly subscription box, or grab one of our fun and unique pieces from our smoke shop.
Grab them by the pieces.
Click the link in the description below this video to get this party started now.
Ladies and gentlemen, in the room with me now, wait a minute, Stephen Ortiz is trying to steal my best friend's spot. In the room with me now is Ron the Quiet Man Kane, Stephen the Spot Stealer Ortiz, and my best friend of the last 89 years and counting. But I can't remember his name. Oh, G.D. Fenderson. Oh, how about that? I got it right. How about that? Good morning.
Good morning, America, and MindDogTV.com. Hey, Halloween is a cheat day for American kids. So please, if you're giving out candy, give out the sweetest, gooeyest, gummiest, stickiest, high-caloricest candy that you can find, and let the parents deal with the consequences. It's like being a grandparent for a day. MindDogTV.com. We don't sell candy to rot your teeth, but we can rot your brain.
All right. Thank you for that. I'm wearing my Tim Pool hat again, in case you haven't noticed, because I don't know. It was a little chilly in here, and I felt like being Tim Pool.
You see, Tim Pool had a meltdown the other day, and everyone thought he quit.
I didn't. Weren't you here when I talked about that?
Oh, you did. That's right.
Yeah, he was here.
had a brain fart. No, I had a brain fart. I came across the video last night of his freak out, and
it was 3 days in a row. 3, remember 3?
Oh, that's right.
It
Yeah,
was 3 days.
right.
3 days in a row.
I came across
Sid
the video last
Rosenberg.
night.
That's right. That's right.
I went across the video last night and it made me giggle. So.
And Matt, I apologize. I got my keyboards mixed up and I started typing under your name and didn't realize until after I hit enter, and I couldn't delete it.
That's fine. I don't care anymore. I'm so sick of this.
I know it's
friggin'
important to you. I just wanted to apologize because.
Well, no, you said Sid Caesar. That's something I would like you to say for me. Just keep saying that over and over again, Sid Caesar, and you can attribute that to me, Sid Caesar, ladies and gentlemen.
Mel Brooks has this story about Sid Caesar that he liked to tell because of how he says Sid Caesar was extremely strong, and I mean extremely strong for his size, and nobody really realized it. They just underestimated him. And Sid Caesar was in the car talking to someone. He was in the car talking to someone, and the other person was outside the car talking to him. And this is back when the cars had those little wings, for like a vent. And so the guy said something to Sid Caesar, and Sid Caesar said to him, now, of course, this is retelling it from Mel Brooks. He says, "Do you remember your birth?" And the guy goes, "No." And he stuck his arm out through the wing and pulled his face up to the wing and says, "You're about to relive it." So,
wow.
I have a question.
I like that.
Ron, what the fuck is up with your background? It's a lady holding a wiener in a shower at a crocodile.
Hello, GD. This is Mel Brooks. You got the story wrong. I thought your phone was ringing. I thought it was Mel.
That was my phone. It was actually a spam call.
Oh, I thought it was Mel calling to say, "Wait a minute."
He calls me on this line. Mel always just sends a text because he's.
What's up with Ron's background is this: he gets up, he says his whatever he dreamt about last night. He says that to the AI image creator, and then throws that in his background. That's what happens. Don't you know by now?
I think Ron talks in his sleep. I think Ron talks in his sleep, and Siri is listening.
Yeah. All right, that works too. So the Hinchcliffe thing, I don't want to give it all that much attention because God, everybody in the world is talking about it today.
Well, hold on. I have.
I welcome migrants to the United States of America with open arms, and by open arms I mean like this. It's wild. And these Latinos, they love making babies too. Just know that. They do. They do. There's no pulling out. They don't do that. They come inside, just like they did to our country. Republicans are the party with a good sense of humor. Going on, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico. Okay, all right, okay, we're getting there. Again, normally I don't follow the national anthem, everybody.
Wow. Yeah, there were groans and stuff there too on that, but it doesn't seem like a whole lot of people were appreciating his comedy.
Well, Stephen liked it. Stephen liked it. Matter of fact, Stephen says, "I love it." And matter of fact, he's going to start following him on tour, just like the other white guy that used to be here before him, who said, "I will follow them anywhere."
I'm a Tony I've been a Tony Hinchcliffe fan. That was disappointing in a lot of ways because, in my opinion, he wasn't. It just came off mean. It didn't come off as he was trying to be funny. It didn't come off as him trying to make like some fun jabs. Like it was just kind of mean. It was just mean.
Why don't you just come to the realization that he really was trying to be funny, and that's just him trying to be funny, and he's just not funny.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. While there's no excuse for how he acted, I don't know that anyone should have been surprised by how he acted just because that's just him. That's his persona. He's a wrestling fan, so that's his persona. Because, like you said, you don't think he's at his heart a hateful person. But that being said, like that was corny. That was like all of that was just kind of
First
mean.
of all, let me just say your
Or
weak ass
he read the room.
Puerto Rican
Or he read the
Wi-Fi.
room
Your
for
weak
racism.
ass Puerto Rican Wi-Fi is cutting out on you. So your words are not getting through to
Hold on.
America.
Hold on. And for the
Your
record,
weak
my
ass
wife's
Puerto
Puerto
Rican
Rican.
Wi-Fi. They don't even call it Wi-Fi. What do they call it? What's the Spanish? How do you say Wi-Fi in Spanish?
Puerto Rican.
No. Anyway,
man, I just wanted to mention that you kind of look like the FBI turned off the heat to your bunker trying to get you out.
could happen. Could happen very soon.
Like the FBI goes, "Come on out, Matt. We're turning off the heat. Next, we're going to turn off the water in the toilet."
Here is a nice Freudian slip from that rally last night.
From Jerusalem, they really do this. Like all of you, listen to me, all of you. I get back and they go, "Sid, you want to speak at this MSG thing?" I go, "Sure." Out of character for me to speak at a Nazi rally. I was just in Israel, but I took the gig.
Rosenberg, that's the part I was alluding to before. Sid is. See, this is the problem, because people who know me know I had a very I was a big fan of Don Imus, and Sid Rosenberg was on his show, and that was a mistake. And Sid almost got Imus fired a couple of times, and then he got him off the show and let him back on the show. And when he came back on the show, he was encouraging that nappy-headed hose stuff, which got Imus fired in the first place. Sid Rosenberg has always been a piece of shit, not just racist, but criminal, like low life, that you would not have anything to do with. If you met him in public or in your life, you would say, "This guy's fucking trouble. He's just he's a drunk. He's an alcoholic. He's a wife beater. He's a racist. Somebody you don't want anything to do with." But he made Imus laugh on doing the sports, and that's how he got. No, I don't know how he got invited to that rally, because that nobody really knows him that well. He was a local sports idiot, but he's always been
if he was a New Yorker guy, and Trump used to be a New York guy, Trump probably used to listen to Imus as well.
No, Trump was not an Imus fan. Imus used to make fun of Trump all the time. Trump was a Stern guy, and Stern and Imus were like head to head at the same time. Trump was a Stern listener. But yeah, okay. So yeah, he said the quiet part. No, everybody knows that. But again, the Daily News is willing to say what it was, a racist rally, but they say it turned into a racist rally, like it wasn't designed to be a racist rally. Right from it didn't turn into.
Right, because the speakers were booked in advance, and when you're doing a rally, you know what your speakers are going to say. So you're right. It didn't turn into a Nazi rally. It was planned to be a Nazi rally, and they're understating it.
Right. So like a few hours after not after Hinchcliffe, Trump hadn't even spoken yet. His press people came out with kind of a disavowment of Tony Hinchcliffe. Trump had every opportunity to say it from the podium, but he didn't. So if he was disavowing that, he could have said it for himself. He had lackeys do it on Twitter, which is very weak, very weak.
And also that gives him plausible deniability. He can say, when he's interviewed about it, he'll say, "Well, I didn't say it. People typed that up for me." He'll put his finger up his ass and see which way the wind is blowing, and that's what he'll answer. That's how he'll answer.
Yeah. So
does this sound better at all?
Yeah. Yeah, it's better.
It's the cord to my microphone that's messed up, I think. So I'll get that replaced after the show.
Why don't you get a fuzzy hat and some glasses and a mustache?
Well, does he have a mustache? No.
I do, but it's strawberry blonde.
It's fucking pubic hair.
It's flesh colored like a Band-Aid. Okay, I got it.
No, it's my pubic hair that fell off last night.
I was talking with my friend Lamar, and he's a big black. I just love talking to him, and he gave me permission to say Nate only when I'm watching him fuck Melania. And I say it a lot. Hey, I love joining the Kentucky Fried Chicken. It reminds me of why Nate continues to support my crazy. I got to say I love BBC. Seeing a BBC with a gigantic Nate cock makes me feel one with all my Nate out there. Peace out. And don't think I'm racist. Ask Mark Robinson. We both will call each other Nate. Remember Lamar gave me permission?
He doesn't talk that fast. We got to tell Parrot to slow it because he's much slower now than maybe that's the way.
Oh, did you also see? This is Tucker Carlson from the rally last night.
That moment, it's going to be pretty tough for them 10 days from now to look in the eye to America with a straight face. It's going to be pretty hard to look at us and say, you know what, Kamala Harris, she got 85 million votes because she's just so impressive. As the first Samoan, Malaysian, low IQ, former California prosecutor ever to be elected president, it was just a groundswell of popular support. And anyone who thinks otherwise is just a freak or a criminal. At this stage of the game, after 9 years of listening to their lies and finding every single one of them totally false, no, it's not safe and effective, and no, she's not impressive. It's very hard for me to believe the rest of us are going to say, you know what, Joe Scarborough, you're right. You're right. She won fair and square because she's just so impressive. I don't think so. And to me, that is liberation. It's the freedom to say what's obviously true as a free man and not a slave. And I just want to say thank you, Donald Trump, for that.
Talk about spreading lies. Tucker Carlson sent emails about how much to his colleagues about how much he hates Donald Trump and can't wait till this guy is gone. And now, thank you very much. I love you, Donald Trump, whatever he just said there at the end. But there are people in my life. I don't want to air all my dirty laundry in public here. There are people in my life who believe that kids are going to school to be taught to be transsexual. They're teaching this as part of the curriculum.
I seen an ad last night, which was hilarious because they were kind of talking about this. Now I was in a bar when I seen this, but it was like part of it was like they're giving sex changes at school.
Right. I brought this up. I said, do you believe they can't even give fucking aspirin to your kid at school without asking your consent? They can't do that. And you believe they're actually sending children to school and the kids are coming home having a sex change operation. Where are they in the nurses?
I know, within like 6 to 7 hours. I mean, that's expert medical care.
In the nurse's office or the cafeteria? Are we doing this in the cafeteria? Where are we doing this? First of all, and but I never heard that. You never heard Trump say that you send your kid to a school as a boy, he comes home a girl. But they are teaching it. It's part of the curriculum. No, you fucking idiot. What? Ask so-and-so. She's a teacher. No, they are not teaching kids to become transsexuals. They are teaching people to respect everybody, even if they have different lifestyles, different lives than you are used to knowing about. They're teaching to respect people and understand that these people exist and they deserve to have basic human rights just like you do. That's what they're teaching in school. That does not equate to teaching your kid that it's a good thing to change your sex. Like everybody should do it. And that's what's coming across.
If you ask any of these people that are saying this, if you ask them for proof, they never have it. Their response is always ask so-and-so and they'll show you.
Well, they ask the teacher that her friend who's a teacher. Friend, they say. I can't really come out and talk too much about this, but the teacher swears that it's part of the curriculum. But again, they're lying about what the curriculum is. The curriculum is teach people that these people are out there. They have children. You might have classmates that have parents that are transgender or gay or bi or whatever, and treat them with respect. Like everybody else in your life deserves to be treated with respect. It doesn't mean you should we're not saying you should do this. We're saying these people are out there. They are human beings. Treat them with basic human dignity. That's it. That's the curriculum. It's not, we got to we got to make everybody transgender. That's not the curriculum. And anybody who says it is fucking insane. or just drinking the Kool-Aid so fucking hard that they become brainwashed. Oh well, and this is the other thing. This person is saying, I listen to all sides of the news. No, you don't. Listening to Sean Hannity or Tucker Carlson or Laura Engel, whatever fucking Laura Ingraham, tell you what they said on CNN and then tell you what to think about what they said on CNN is not the same as listening to CNN. You think you're listening to both sides. You're listening to one side tell you what the other side is saying and interpreting it for you. That's not thinking for yourself. That's not looking at all the information that's out there. So, this is part of it's just so fucking frustrating and annoying. I'm ready to give up on this whole planet. And yesterday during church, I made the comment that I need a gun. And it was because I was looking for the rally. I was looking at a live feed of the rally attendants just lining up there and at 9 o'clock in the morning, lining up for a 2 o'clock rally. And I was like, where are the fucking mass shooters when they're like cops? There's never one around when you need them. Where these kids who want to go shoot up a school? All these fucking people in Manhattan, like lining up with their MAGA hats on. This is where we want you. Go ahead and blast away. Blast away to your heart's content. To leave carnage all over the streets.
The thing is, those are your prime candidates to be a mass shooters. They were standing in line. That's why
I know that.
Hey, real quick, since we're talking about promoting mass shooters, hold on.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host or guest and should not be interpreted as statement of fact. That's absolutely true. There's no fact in that they should be shot. It's just my opinion that there is never a mass shooter around when you need one. That's all I'm saying. They're like cops. They're out there. They're everywhere until you need one, and then you can't find one. That's what I'm saying.
And hey, since be in church anyway,
since my audio's coming through now, I just wanted to address this real quick, okay? And I'm gonna leave it alone after that. So I enjoy shock comedy, like the shock value. I also laugh when I'm uncomfortable. That's why comedy has been my favorite coping mechanism. So I might giggle. That doesn't mean I don't understand it's like a super fucked up thing to say. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, even within Ian's comment, they called the guy Hang Dang. That wasn't his name, Hang Dang.
I know
Hang
that
Dang.
right there was just as bad.
Let me tell you, that guy, Tony called him a chink. Tony called him a chink, and he was trying to use that to kind of, I don't know, step up on Tony's being knocked down. That kind of, you don't lift yourself up by bringing other people down. But he was Pang Dang, close enough. I don't know. Pang sounds right. I think Pang was part of his name. Doesn't really matter at this point. We could look it up.
I'm gonna look it up. I bet his name's probably like Chris or something. You bunch of racists.
No, it's definitely a very, very Chinese name. But
his name is probably Pang Pong. But
the guy swore he had never heard that word before, and he said it hurt him that Tony said that and all this stuff. But I knew that wasn't true because the guy he was in the chat room. Because we were discussing this at the time. He was in the chat room when I had Tommy Chong on, who was talking about his first band, 4 N's and a C, and he instead of saying the letters, he said the words. So the guy had heard the word before.
His name is Pang Dang, so he was right.
And Pang Dang, yeah.
Pang Dang, yep.
Yeah.
Bang bang.
So, but again, whether or not Tony Hinchcliffe is a racist or not, that's not really, germane to the conversation. In the fact, the way he reacted to it was, you people just don't have a sense of humor. It's time we come to a point where saying I'm sorry, I fucked up, being accountable to your mistakes. It's just not it's not a thing anymore. It's very rare for somebody to say I'm sorry, mea culpa, that kind of thing. It's just gone. We can't admit we've made a mistake. And this is Tony, instead of blaming it on the entire world for not laughing at your joke, just admit it was a bad joke, a very poor choice. A poor choice just to be there in the first place. You made a mistake. You fucked up. Go on, move on from that. It's easy to move on from that. But I think he's going to become bigger because of this. All the attention around it is just going to have more people tuning in to Kill Tony to hear what he has to say about it and what his remarks are going to be. It's not a good thing.
My wife had asked me, because we were watching Morning Joe this morning, and they would not refer to him by name. They just kept saying the comedian who opened for Trump. The comedian who opened for Trump. They wouldn't call him by name. And my wife says, "Why aren't they saying his name and shaming him?" I said, "Because there is no shaming him. I said, saying his name would just make him more popular."
Yeah, this is so. Granted, he did apologize for offending Peng Dang, but
he did.
I think, yeah, oh yeah, he's said it publicly several times that he feels bad for what he did and how he approached it. Yeah, he said it on several podcasts as well.
I got to see that because this went on for weeks. And again, I was talking to people who were very close to him, like people who sit next to him on the panel. I don't want to mention people because they are his friends, and I don't want to throw them under the bus in their relationships and all that stuff. But I talked to many people for weeks after weeks, and he was not apologizing.
No, it wasn't right away. No, it was the last time I heard him talk about it on a podcast was maybe 6 months ago. I'm trying to remember who he was sitting across from. I want to say it was Bert Kreischer, but I'm not 100% sure who he was talking to. I'll look it up. I'm fairly confident that I remember it vividly, except for who he was talking to. But yeah, I don't think there's really a whole lot of shaming him though. I mean, if you watch Kill Tony, he's said considerably worse. So it's, I doubt there's any shaming him. So,
I said I didn't want to give this a lot of attention, and we've given it too much attention already.
No more.
Well, I think in the short term it doesn't do anything, but I think now he's kind of ventured into that realm as like, am I like another Rob Schneider essentially, too? Because especially if you're saying that you're a comic and you're lining up to be at that rally, and you know what those people stand for. I think it's just an embarrassment, really, for him as a comedian to be there. And
right? No, I agree. That's what I said. It's a bad choice right from the start to even accept the invitation, or asked to be. I don't know how it went down, but I'm assuming he was invited or recommended. The theory is going that they wanted somebody else, but he got recommended by another comedian who turned it down. That's what
I bet Joe Rogan probably threw his name in the ring.
That's exactly what I was talking about. That Trump asked Rogan to do it on Friday, and Rogan said, "No, I can't do it." But who would love to do it? And then that's what being. That's
it also just feels like a work, because now this just seems like, in like probably in a week you'll see him show up on Joe's podcast, and then the narrative will be like, "Hey man, you were just doing jokes and they can't, these people are assault." Then it'll be that they'll try and spin it that way. You can
6
already
million people just don't have a sense of humor, but you do. That's the narrative. Everybody.
I think he said that Republicans have a good sense of humor. It's just the rest of us don't.
No, he said these people have no sense of humor, meaning everybody who didn't get his joke. But he got groans from the Nazis in the audience.
Yeah, but to be fair, Nazis aren't Republicans; they're a group to themselves. So I thought he did say that Republicans are the party that get jokes or tell good jokes or something like that.
I think somebody, the guy from Midas Touch, interpreted his words in saying, right wing is getting better at comedy and the left wing can't handle it. And this is something I wanted to kind of address last week. I wanted to make a video about it. Why are so many comedians veering so far right now? This is just an unusual circumstance. I don't remember a time in my life where comedians were generally en masse moving to the right, far right.
it almost feels like it's giving comedians the green light to do more racially toned jokes.
Right.
Like, because once the right once people started being comfortable using that sort of language and verbiage in public, and then you do have some comedians who have built a reputation on it. And then now that it's being welcomed, they're like, well, if I make this my political identity, you can't fight that because that's my right. I can be whoever I want. Now I can say whatever I want. And I think that's part of it. They're thinking it gives them the green light to just use whatever verbiage they want to use.
They're
And
bringing up Don Rickles, and they don't get Don Rickles. Don Rickles, first of all, every time he and he would use lots racial epithets and stuff, but he always said, "I'm doing this with love," and basically go up and give the person a hug and all that kind of stuff. He was, Mr. Warmth, but it was all tongue in cheek, and they knew it. Don Rickles hung out. First of all, he was a Jew making jokes about Jews. He was in with a lot of people, Italian Americans that were part of, the culture of mafia, and he would make jokes about Frank Sinatra being in the mafia, but he was opening for Frank Sinatra when he was doing it. It was, it wasn't, but to equate that with what we're seeing now, this just pure racism for the sake of racism, and not to kind of like poke fun at the stereotypes and nonsense that we hear about all the stuff. It's not, there's no equivalency here between Don Rickles and what he did.
It looked like he tried to do that, but he just went full racist. He didn't stop at the irony of it. He just went full bore.
Yeah, I don't think he knows the difference, to be honest with you.
No, I don't think he does either. That's exactly why he went overboard with it. Because I feel like he's heard those comparisons. Maybe he's like, okay, I'm going to lean into it, but he's leaning into it the complete wrong way. He's doing it where it's coming off as, no, is this really who you are, versus tongue in cheek.
Yeah. Now, Dr. Phil was there. Dr. Phil endorsed Donald Trump. Like, we didn't know he did that like months ago on his little dopey show. But
have we ever sent? Go ahead. I'm sorry. Have we ever sent Oprah a proper thank you note for Dr. Phil and Dr. Oz?
and Donald Trump, Donald Trump too. Oprah prompted him, and she was the first one to suggest to him that he should run for president.
Just go to mailapoo.com, and I'm sure you can find their addresses online, and you can send them a beautiful gift of poo in a box for $19.99.
Dr. Phil was trying to make the case that Donald Trump is not a bully, that Kamala Harris is a bully, and everybody on the left is full of bullies, but Donald Trump is not a bully. So he did make the statement that Donald Trump can't be a bully because in order for bullying to be in place, there has to be an imbalance of power, and there is never an imbalance of power. If the balance of power is equal, then it's just a debate. This is what he said. Like, you don't recall Donald Trump, his last job, the only job he really ever had in his life was president of the United States. You don't get much more of an imbalance of power than the president of the United States humiliating reporters, citizen reporters, and bullying them, and just from the pulpit. There is no, and I pointed this out to him. I went on his little Twitter thing and said, is this an imbalance of power? The most powerful man in the world against a guy doing his job?
Oh, the handicap. What about the handicap reporter? You dick. The thing. Go fuck yourself, you orange prick.
Shame on Dr. Phil. He's just a disgusting piece of shit at this point, and defending the worst fucking bully on the planet, really.
The kind of the funny thing about all of this is now with Tony Hinchcliffe, what happened yesterday, like all of that, they were all excited because of Trump being on Rogan, and like Hinchcliffe came in and he swept all that away in about 8 minutes.
Well, I'm not sure the Rogan thing, and thanks for bringing that up, because I did want to kind of talk about that and transition away from the fucking Nazi rally. I'm not sure the Rogan thing helped Trump at all. I mean, I know even diehard Trumpers who were like Rogan pointing out that you can't even see a scar on his ear, knowing that cartilage does not regrow. It doesn't look. It looks like Trump's ear is immaculate. I mean, the same way it was before the supposed assassination attempt, which I still maintain was staged. But Rogan was like, you can't even see it. And Rogan was like surprised that I don't see anything. And he was saying, well, it just got zicked. Well, that's not the same as shot, zicked. But what actually happened, and why are there no medical reports, and why is there no damage to your ear? There were lots of little things like that came up. Trump admitting to Rogan that he pays pollsters. He pays pollsters for undersampling people and showing that he's winning. And he paid, big money, $5 million to pay for a poll that says you're winning. He admitted that straight out. And so I don't think the Rogan thing necessarily helped him at all. I think a lot of people.
Well, no, I think the Rogan thing was primarily just for his base. I think once you get past that, I think most people don't give a fuck because it's just 3 hours of an old guy rambling, and Joe doesn't have any backbone as a comic to stand up to him and won't. So what is even Joe doing there?
Yeah. Kyle Kalinske. No. Wow. Kyle is, I forget the name of his little platform there. Secular Talk, I believe, is the name of his platform. Kyle's a pretty big left-wing pundit. He's also friends with Joe Rogan. Has been on Rogan when Rogan was actually a Democrat, a registered Democrat, and supporting people like Bernie Sanders. He was a big fan of Kyle Kalinske. They are still friends, and Kyle does a show like once every 6 months. He came out with a piece analyzing Rogan's little thing with Trump, and he was extremely critical of Rogan. But he even pointed out that when Rogan went on Lex Friedman, Lex said to Rogan that he should have Trump on, and Rogan admitted that he doesn't have the skills or knowledge base to push back on Trump, and he didn't want to help him. And he said when he comes out with his bullshit, there's no way I'm going to be able to fact check that or even push back on it in a credible way. He said that, admitting it, like a year in advance of when he actually did it. But then Kyle went on to say this was the stupidest this conversation I've ever witnessed in my life. Now, considering this is a good friend of Rogan's, who happens to be on the left, and is basically dependent on his appearances on there to kind of boost his Secular Talk visibility every once in a while. That took some balls for him to come out against his friend. And you know what? I got to give him credit for that, because now there is this whole intimidation, or I need this person, so I'm going to be really political about my judgment of them, or all that kind of stuff. He just let him have it. And I thought, so, good for you, Kyle. Good for you. It's the right thing to do. But yeah, Rogan knows. He knew he was ill-equipped to have that conversation with Trump, but did it anyway. And he's trying to push back somewhat on the whole tariff stuff and all that stuff, but it's out of his league. This is not, Rogan has become. He was always a conspiracy guy. He's become completely into the right-wing propaganda, and doesn't, like, with the cat litter boxes and everything else that he's been fact-checked on. We're just waiting for Jamie to pull up Rogan's Dignity. Can we pull up Rogan's Dignity? No, it's gone.
It's too late. It's around his ankles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ew.
So I'm in a really bad place. I was just praying the asteroid would hit, but ground zero would be Madison Square Garden yesterday. That's what I was hoping. It's not. And let me tell you this: I checked out early voting where I am. The line was longer than it was for the Apple iPhone when it first came out in 2008. Remember, the line was from Manhattan to Brooklyn. I don't know if you guys remember.
I thought it was from Tuesday to Saturday, but
yeah, it's longer than that. And they're they're all wearing MAGA hats on the early voting line where I am. I mean, and that should be against the because, listen, it wouldn't intimidate me. The size of the line made me say, I'm not fucking standing on this line on a Saturday afternoon for 4 hours when on election day, I've never had a problem. It never takes more than 10 minutes to vote. I have to go early now so I could stand online with all these fucking MAGA people for a mile and a half to get into the place. But the idea that somebody who doesn't have a lot of balls is going to see, and somebody who's on the left is going to say, I can't, they're going to fucking harass me and all this stuff. You see nothing but Trump support on the line for the early voting here where I am. It could be intimidating to some people. It should be against the law. You should not be able to wear any political, flag or hat or any of that kind of stuff while you're online to vote. It's just wrong, and then nobody was doing anything about it. But it does concern me that we might be. And listen, I'll be honest with you. I have looked at Mexico as a place to move to in the near future. If Trump wins, I am people. Oh, you're not going to leave the country. Yeah, there are other forces in my life that are saying I should move to someplace warm. And Florida, while there's no legal weed in Florida, first of all, which is really unappealing to me. But also, rents are cheaper in Mexico. I have to deal with learning how to speak the language, but this is on my mind. I might. I'm not saying I will. I might leave the country if Donald Trump wins next week. I don't want to live in.
I don't know if it's going to be worth it to go to Mexico, but
for you it wouldn't be. What do I have to look forward to? First of all, this is what I do now. I could do this from a little fucking studio apartment in Mexico.
I mean, yes, you could.
Yeah, but the Wi-Fi,
I don't want to live in New York
there. You don't. Do you really want to go someplace that has subpar Wi-Fi? If you're going to relocate, you need to relocate based on the G's that you can get.
All your shit's gonna get stolen in like a month.
Why? I would never leave. I would be. I mean, if I'm thinking literally, because even if I went to let's just say I went to Isla Mirada in the Florida Keys, I would get a little cabin on the beach, and that's it. I would my life would be there. I'd play my acoustic guitar and record.
You'd want a gig. You'd want a gig. Which means you have to leave your house. You have to leave your house.
For an hour, for 3 hours at a time, 4 hours at a time. No, it's not.
And that's when the cartel comes and robs your shit, and then you come home to nothing.
Or you have to rebuild every other hurricane.
That I'm fine with. That it's not like we don't have. You think we don't have disasters in New York and Long Island?
But we call them. But we call those disasters political parties.
Yeah, and Matt, last time you had an earthquake, all you did was. I mean, I didn't see like your whole house crash down around you.
We've had lots of hurricanes. We've had hurricanes that have completely destroyed. I don't think you guys have a very short memory about. Have you heard of Sandy?
Yeah, that was.
We had a natural disaster that went on for weeks, where this entire area was completely devastated.
I mean, I lived on the Gulf during Katrina. I get it.
Yeah,
I understand. With Sandy, I understand because there was a picture of a governor from New Jersey sitting on the beach. That's what I remember from Sandy. No, I thought
that was a whale.
But
yeah,
it was more than that.
That has nothing to do with Long Island. Long Island we had Sandy relief efforts and concerts by rock stars to try to raise money for the New York metro area. It was completely devastating. We've had, where I live, a brush fire that completely burned the East End. So you could not get to the Hamptons. So, no, you would have to find a new. No. Why do you keep putting that back up?
Yeah. I was trying to take it down. You and I are we're almost in sync, but we're unsync.
So anyway,
Backstreet Gays.
This is what I'm thinking now. Mikey has sent me dates, believe it or not, for all of next year, and I haven't told him that I'm probably not going to be in New York for him. Either way, because there are other things going on in my life. I'm probably going to be relocating soon. So again, I'm not sure where I'm going, but Mexico has been on my mind. It's I spent a lot of time in Mexico in my life. It's not what you guys are. It's not a third world country. Mexico is.
I know.
Okay, well,
I know very little about Mexico. I've never been there. I have friends from there, and as a country, I respect it. As a comedic trope, I have my my go-to stereotype things.
Yeah. There are parts of
Don't-
Mexico that are very third world country-ish, but as a whole, there are some really beautiful.
Well, I don't know what a-hole has to do with anything, but just don't go to Australia because I can't get up at like 2 a.m. to do the show.
You know, I would like to see Australia before I die. I don't think I'm going to. I don't think I'm going to.
Me neither,
But
to
again,
be fair. So.
it comes down to what you were saying. I don't think you're 33 years old or whatever the fuck you are. You're not 65 years old and really have limited time anyway. And listen, the gigs, yeah, I like doing gigs, but how long am I going to be able to do that for? How long do you really think I'm going to be able?
I think you have about, according to your insurance company, you have about 7,000 chords left in you. I don't know how many songs that is, but you have about 7,000 chords that you can play, and then after that, your hands will drop off. The actuary, that's what it is. The actuary say you have 7,000 chords.
I finally Googled that, by the way. I get that now. I was like, what the fuck's an actuary? Is that even a thing?
Yeah.
That's a terrible job to have. That's really depressing.
Yeah.
I statistically tell people when they're going to die.
So moving on from this whole thing, let me just say, I don't know if we have. I should have said this in the first 10 seconds of the broadcast. I don't know if we have a guest today, and every guest this week is a fucking dick. Every guest this week, fucking
I don't know
dick.
if we know that for certain since we haven't had them, but the one guy that you're talking about, Mr. Trillion. What's his name? Something Trillion.
Trillion. I'm rich enough already. Here's the thing. Every single one of them, they go to Calendly. This guy who's supposed to be here in the second hour, or might be here in the second hour, has booked for 4 different dates. And so he doesn't even know. And then I sent him the login for today, and he went and booked another date. Thank you very much. And then went to the calendar and booked another date. Like, first of all, if you're rescheduling, there's a rescheduling function on the calendar to say it's a reschedule. Don't just keep tying up my fucking calendar with more dates that you're not. This first guy, the guy who's supposed to be on the first hour, I didn't even bother sending a link to. He had the name Pete, no last name, and he's from Mutombo Coffee out of Turkey, a coffee dedicated to Dikembe Mutombo in his honor, a coffee brand, and he's in Turkey. And he just gives me Pete, and and like there's no information from him. Like, Pete, what's your last name? What the fuck do you do? Are you just trying to sell me coffee? What the fuck are you doing? All week long, the calendar is filled with people. They gave me no information. I'd love for you to read my book. What book is that?
Who the fuck are you? What book?
Who sent you? Can I have a web link? Can you tell me? And they all, if they have names that you Google, and there's 18 of them, and they're all not the same person. Like, you don't know who the fuck is coming on your show. Like, come on. And every guest this week has done that.
Do you think somebody's fucking with you? Like, just somebody's making a concerted effort to like fuck with you and just gum up the works?
Well,
That
we had
could
somebody
happen,
in the
but I
chat
don't
coming
think
in here
that-
being
no.
a dick, so
No,
who
'cause
knows?
it's all sorts of different fucking issues here with these people. So
I would like to see
I-
something positive that came out of the Tony Hinchcliffe thing. I think was it Tony Hinchcliffe?
we're back to that again.
Well, I just want to say something positive. People kept waiting for Bad Bunny to endorse Kamala Harris. And right after that thing, Bad Bunny endorsed Kamala Harris. So now I have to Google Bad Bunny to find out who he is and why it's important.
Bad Bunny is a Puerto Rican music star. He's been a guest in WWE wrestling several times. He's put on some matches. He is a public figure. He is an influencer. He is a musician. He is a
Internationally, he is like Taylor Swift.
Yeah,
he is a major star. He is a major star.
He's also been in. He was also in Fast and Furious. He was in all sorts of shit. Yeah, he's a big star worldwide.
I have to say, on my Wednesday night show, and you guys probably don't know who this is, Andy Page. Does that name ring a bell to you guys?
Is she related to Ken Page?
She wouldn't. She wouldn't. You guys wouldn't know her. Wait, what's going on? You left me. Where are you? She is on General Hospital now. She's also a QVC spokesperson, model, whatever they salesperson.
General Hospital.
So, yeah, she's on the show Wednesday night, so she's not a dick. Okay.
Okay.
But she's not on the morning show.
Now this Trillion guy is like really impressed that he lost like 60 pounds, 61 pounds, and I'm sorry. At 224, I was at 231, and I went down to at one point 199. Now I'm back to 207. The point is, unless he's like 224, unless he's like really, really short, that's I don't,
Oh, if I was 224, I'd look amazing.
I'd lose 30 pounds to be 224. So yeah.
I don't know how tall he is. I don't know what 224 is.
He doesn't look that tall in his picture, but his message is so fucking contrived anyway. And I don't think Trillion is his real. I mean, who names their kid? Gives the kid a million named Trillion. It's Richard Manti. He comes from Podmatch. He's written a book about 4 ways to lose weight, but he also considers himself a wealth coach, a wealth inspirational, motivational speaker, and he can't fucking work a calendar. He's like 9, over and over again, booking different dates.
Well, maybe this would help,
This is helpful.
Is that practice?
Actually, you took the game. You took one of my. They got one of my games. I can't do that game on my show. I mean, the person can't do that game on his show now anymore.
Yeah, these ladies are swinging hot dogs into their mouth for the people that cannot see this.
If you can't see this, that's your fault.
Yeah, that's their benefit, actually.
We talk about how comedy is like super like just full of people, right? What about motivational speakers? Every fucking person is a goddamn motivational fucking speaker and a wealth coach. You know what? Like, why? If it was that,
I've been sick of them since 1982.
It pisses me off almost as bad as psychics. Like, if it's that easy, why isn't everybody just fucking rich and healthy?
No, it's this whole fucking manifestation idea, law of attraction. I always say the law of attraction only works if you truly believe in it, and you have to be a fucking imbecile to truly believe in it. What the law of attraction says is just believe good things will come your way, and things will come your way. It doesn't say anything about taking any action strategy, working towards it. All you have to do is adopt a mindset of manifesting wealth into your life, and it will come to you. And that will work. If you believe in it enough that it gets you up off the couch to do something, it might manifest that way. But you have to believe in it to your core, and you have to be a complete imbecile to believe it in your core.
But also, wouldn't you say if you were gay, wouldn't that be manifest destiny?
Yeah.
There's that was
No, I think one of the tenets is that you with positive thinking or with attraction, the law of attraction, is that you have to make yourself available for the opportunities as well. It's not like now I'm not.
Available,
Listen,
available. You
there
can,
was
what
two
does that
things.
mean? Laying on the couch and ready to answer the door when it knocks?
Yes, you have to be
There
on the couch,
was
ready when the door when opportunity knocks.
No,
You have to be willing to get up off your
no,
ass and
man.
answer the door.
Listen,
it's all
there's
bullshit.
when I was like 10 years old when I discovered two things in life that have helped me.
Your
One,
penis.
no,
A
that was
wheelchair.
that. Actually, I didn't need that till a little bit later. But listen,
Okay.
it was one. If I didn't get my hopes up for things, in fact, if I had the mindset that it's probably not going to happen, is generally when things would happen. And two, I never won shit. I've always had to work for it. I'd much rather have the mentality that I have to work and earn what I have and what I get versus the bullshit. Like you can't
Yeah.
just wish for it and it happen. That's not how shit works. That's why it happens in
This
cartoons.
is how I became in Willie's eyes, is that I kept telling him that his just wanting to believe it was never going to be enough. And, oh, you're a hater. You know, I'm gonna make $30,000 by January 15th. Really, Willie? How's that gonna happen? Facebook. Okay. Listen, pal, you've been taken. This is not going to happen for you. You're a hater. All right. I'm going to get discovered. How's that going to happen? I just have to believe it's going to happen. No. You have to do something. You have to actually go out and work. If you want to be a comedian, the best way to be a comedian is go out and get yourself some gigs, practice at your craft, do it. You're a hater. It always comes down to, no, I want to have it just magically happen by me thinking it's going to happen. It's like, no, that's not the way the world works. I'm sorry if that makes me a hater to believe that you actually have to get up off your ass and work for what you want, then I'll probably be called a hater. I don't think that's hate. I think that's called realism. But
Man, even for example, like I have this GoFundMe going, right? I'm not just sitting here posting about it hoping to make money. No, I'm talking to bookers about putting on shows to help raise money. I'm talking to radio stations about possibly doing something with them. Like I'm still putting work into it. Like you can't just sit there and just wish for it. That's not how shit works. Plus, how does that feel fulfilling when you have a goal and it just gets given to you? Well, doesn't it always feel better when you work for it?
Well, I don't know if Mike
depends on your
Chabot is still in the
mindset.
audience. Hold on. I don't know if Mike Chabot is still in the audience, but he's a guy who would be prime sucker to kind of grift into your van thing. There's a GoFundMe. Mike has given money to Willie when Willie was stuck in the airport. He gave to
But he
Willie when
liked
we were trying
Willie.
to buy
He
a
doesn't
car
like
for
me.
Willie. Oh, I don't know if he liked Willie. He fucking insulted Willie a lot as far as this town. And he wasn't wrong. I mean, Willie never really said anything funny on purpose. But yeah, so that GoFundMe is there in case you want to give some money to a worthy cause or an unworthy cause, however it may turn out to be.
Hey, listen, I've like I said, I've put in some work into it. I did find a place that said they would wrap a van to make it look like a short bus for me, because my vehicle has been referred to for the last year as the comedy short bus because I would pick up other comics and take them to gigs with me. So, I mean, that's what it's going to be used for, man. So yeah, it's going to be awesome. It's a worthy cause.
So those other comics that you used to pick up and take, are they contributing? I'm not trying to shame them. I'm just saying that if you used to give them rides and they're not contributing to your new rides, so you can give them rides, then I'm just saying I'm not trying to shame them, and I'm not.
No, I hear you. I try not to have that mindset because I'm
not asking you to have the mindset. I'm just
no, I
asking
hear
if they
you. I
did.
hear you, and they have not yet.
Okay, that's all. That's all I'm saying. I just want to know if those scummy bastards, I'm sorry, those friends of yours
well,
those
it's
scummy bastards. I'm sorry, your friend. I like
unfortunately I've had the kind of life to where I'm used to not having support from the people that I know, love, and support. So I'm very much used to it. So while it's not happening, I'm not paying attention to it because I'm used to it. So and it's not a pity thing.
Have you ever once tried to think that shit that goes wrong in your life is just because of your negative thinking?
But it's not. But yeah, it's not. But it's not something that like I'm sad about or like anything like that. I mean, it just happens. I give it out, and if it comes back to me, cool, and if not, that's fine. I don't put it out there to get it back.
Because you don't believe in the law of attraction, you fucking hater.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I know.
I got some disappointing news last night as I could not sleep, and I was looking up Ballotopia to see who else was running for Congress in the 3rd Congressional District of New York. And it turns out I'm not going to be on the ballot. And I was just looking it up there. I couldn't find the piece where it says I have officially withdrawn. Now, I didn't, unless they listen to this program, because I couldn't figure out how to officially withdraw. I tried to when George Santos dropped out of the race because he was indicted. I tried to, and I couldn't figure it out. But the only place I've officially said that is on this program. So somebody in the FEC, the Federal Election Commission, must watch this program and said, "Oh, that's it. He officially resigned." So I'm not going to be on the ballot, which is, I don't know. I kind of wanted to be on the ballot, even if it meant one vote.
Hey, it's an exciting feeling.
You have to make up your mind. You can't say I want to be on the ballot. I don't want to be on the ballot. I want to be on the ballot. I'm not running. I'm running. I'm not running, because you have people who are simple-minded folk and they get confused.
I agree with you. I agree with you. But here's the thing: I could not tell anybody officially that I didn't want to run. So as far as they knew, unless they watched this program, that's the point I'm making. Unless they watched this program, they could not have heard me say I'm not running anymore.
I'm sure that
the
one
only
of
place
us,
I've said it is here.
I'm sure one of us, if not all of us, are probably being observed by the government, and so it was probably picked up through this program. Yeah, it's probably a thing. Yeah.
I think my days of being watched by the government are over. I think they've made their peace with me, and I think they stopped.
I'm a huge UFO guy, and I spend a lot of time on all their sites, and I know after so much time, they're probably like, "What's this guy doing here?" So
Mike Chavola says he does feel like a sucker for sending Willie money. Here's the thing: he knew Willie was stuck in the airport, and he sent him $75 to eat. And Willie sent that to his wife, who is his mommy, really.
It's disrespectful.
Yeah. See, this is a big problem. I don't. Maybe I shouldn't go there. It's just like if you want to live your dream recklessly or irresponsibly, that's one thing. If you're a bachelor, you don't have 5 kids that you never paid any child support to, that you really owe back child support to, and you don't have a wife supporting you and working hard at the diner to be a waitress, to get tips, to pay for your airfare and your hostel stay and all this stuff, but you're abusing other people for your dream. That's irresponsible. That's weak and pathetic. I mean, do it if you feel like the law of attraction is all you need. Fucking don't ask anybody else to
and
support
see,
you.
that's the thing is pursuing your dream obviously is an important thing for anybody, but and to not prioritize certain things is ridiculous, especially if you have responsibilities. Like, for example, when I started going after this myself, my wife, she works 3 jobs. I take care of the household completely when she's gone, but she makes all the money, and so I can go do comedy. And it's one of those things where one of the deals we made was money. I can't take money from the family's mouth to pursue the dream. That was the deal we made. So to not only not have the support, but then not support the money that people that are supporting you are sending you, that's fucked up, man. Super fucked up.
Steven, you said you were a UFO guy. Is that like Uncannily Funny Ortiz? Is that another one of your monikers, or you just like been hiding in the background?
No, I have an unhealthy obsession with aliens and UFOs. Yeah.
What do you mean unhealthy obsession? You care to elaborate on what your beliefs are?
I have like 200 gigs of documents from like unclassified documents and shit that I read through, and I'm in groups and talk about it.
No, that's not what I'm asking. I'm not asking what you have or what.
Oh, my
what
beliefs?
are your
Like,
beliefs? Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I believe that there's alien life, and I think they're coming here. I'm not 100% sure, but when the government says that they have non-terrestrial materials and shit like that, then I mean, the only conclusion you can draw is we're being visited. So To what
Do you
extent?
believe do you believe they're like lizard people who like are hiding their faces and running the
No.
government?
No, I don't.
Why
No.
you laugh at that?
No.
If
Because it's
that's funny,
ludicrous. It's
but what?
okay. For example, okay, if you like you get a bottle of water, right? You look at the bottle of water and you say, there's no sharks in here. There's no way sharks exist, right? That's an asinine thing to think. Just because
That
we
is
can only
asinine
see
because
so
that's salt water, and sharks live in salt water. That's
well,
bottled fresh
okay,
water. Of
true.
course, that's
But we could
asinine.
but
No,
we
no,
see
no, no, no.
the observable.
There's no consistency in this metaphor that you're trying to make. You believe that aliens are visiting here, but they could not be in lizard form. Like you believe there's alien life that exists, but there are certain limitations to what you would believe
I
that
guess
life form
I
could
have to
exist.
leave a piece of my mind open for that possibility, I suppose. But the idea that our government is just our government's a bunch of lizard people in disguise, like that's not a thing I believe. No, I don't. No.
Yeah, but you laugh at it as if that's ridiculous. But other
It's
like
in my head,
things.
it's fairly ridiculous. Yes. Is it impossible? I guess. Sure. No, but
Is it less possible than what you're believe what you actually believe in? Is it less possible?
I suppose not.
So,
I
but there
suppose not.
it's laughable because you
It's
don't want to.
laughable. It's not because I don't want it to be true. I mean, sure you can go on YouTube and you can find 1,000 videos of people claiming they've caught people like like glitching on camera and shit and all that, and some of that's convincing, sure. But again, I don't necessarily buy into that completely. But it's sure, I guess it's possible. I
Yeah,
guess.
not right. So,
Yeah.
but if somebody laughed at your belief that UFOs are visiting,
That's
extraterrestrials are visiting us, what would you react? If that's laughable,
that's
what's
fine.
your
I
reaction?
mean, that's fine. I yeah.
Uh,
It's not.
just-
I don't. There's not a piece of my core of my core outside of like my daughters and my wife that I would go out and defend or be like super like upset about for someone criticizing.
It's just
Yeah,
funny
doesn't bother me.
that it can draw the line on possibilities. Because this comes back to somebody said I don't understand because I was talking about the guy who analyzes music with pitch correction software, pitch monitoring software, and he claimed that having two different takes be identical within that software is impossible. I said no, highly improbable, not impossible. You don't understand physics, man. You know what? I know a little bit about physics. Here's what I know about. I know about M theory claiming there are 99 dimensions, parallel universes, all of the kind of stuff that you would say are impossible and laugh at it. Physics calls it
Well,
improbable.
I don't draw the line in the sense that like I think anything's impossible because I don't think that's the case. If you look at
No,
all of the documents that I have that I've read, the government's looked into things like Stargate and remote viewing and interstellar travel. And I mean, everything they're researching is things that people would call impossible. I don't think anything's impossible. I just, like I said, in my mind, there's just things that I find highly improbable, but I guess nothing's impossible.
Right. And now I don't mean to foster the distrust of government, but why would this government declassify stuff like that for a guy like you to have compile
Well,
2
it's
gigs?
it's available to the public, but the two conclusions I come to is either A, it led to no results, or B, maybe they've discovered things and they just let this shit go because it didn't lead to what they've discovered in particular. So who knows?
Who
Now,
knows?
out of curiosity, let's say they found out that there was intelligent life, not microbial life, but intelligent life, something on par with us. Do you think they withhold it, being a Christian nation, that they would withhold it so
100%.
that the Christians wouldn't freak out?
I think 100% they would. I think that's one of the few reasons they would withhold that information because when you, especially with things like the Catholic Church, who have a major role to play in the world as a whole, if you throw off the balance of the world's belief systems, I mean, think about it. If Israel and Palestine found out they've been fighting for thousands of years over fucking bullshit, you know how pissed they would be. Like,
Yeah, they would, because they wouldn't stop fighting because it's their bullshit.
well, right, but that's what I'm saying though. Is like I think it would cause more problems than it would fix realistically. I mean, Reagan even said an alien threat would unite the world as a whole, and I believe that. But I don't know if they would. I think it would cause more chaos than it would help fix anything.
Nope.
Because people as a whole are they would freak out.
Stupid. Oh.
Yeah, people as a whole are stupid. They would freak out because it's an unknown. They're not going to have all the information. It's going to cause chaos.
We will never have unity on this planet where everybody is of a like mind and all see one
because as soon as we discover aliens, there's going to be people that are like, welcome them with open arms, and there's going to be people that are like, no, kill them on sight. So I mean, there's always going to be conflict. Nothing's going to fix anything. That's why I'm saying I think if they announced that, it would just cause other different problems. I don't think it would fix anything. And I think at this point, something that drastic would cause way more chaos than fix. So,
did you watch the whole Rogan Trump thing?
Man, I fell asleep about hour 45 is where I started falling asleep and turned it off.
So, did you catch the part about Trump telling him Martians, little green men from Mars? He didn't say little green men. Martians have visited.
I've heard him.
I think he meant. Honestly, I think he meant that Elon Musk visited him because Elon Musk is going to be the first Martian. That's what I think he means.
I did not.
Elon Musk bought the planet.
Ron, did you watch the whole thing?
I watched about 8 minutes of it.
Hard to get through. I know. I didn't watch any of it. I mean, all I know is the clips that were presented.
Right after I sent you guys the clip of Rogan giggling like Cucker Tarlson, I was like, all right, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I shut it off. I was like, this is getting weird. Yeah, because the whole time he was just jerking off his ego the whole time. Every time Trump would say something bullshit, he'd be like, oh yeah, that's right. Or if he was wrong, he would just minorly say he got like a piece of it wrong, but still roll with it. He was just jerking him off the whole time. It was fucking horrible.
So what happens, if she does win? I wonder what's going to happen to all these comics.
Corona, por favor. That's what happened. Corona, por favor.
Well, I don't know because everything that's coming out of Austin or associated with Austin currently over the past couple months has not been great. Because I mean, you have Schultz having him on his podcast, which was empty and pointless as well. Then he tries to spin it. Then Theo had him on, and that was empty and pointless, and only served, that audience if they're whatever.
Luis Gomez a little bit last night. Luis J. Gomez. So if I don't put the J in there, I'm gonna have to fight him. He was saying what the good thing that has come out of this is comedians and podcasters are driving our politics now, and that's a good thing. I was like, are you fucking retarded?
No, it's not a good thing.
Are you fucking retarded? Comedians are comedians for a reason. They never had a real job. These people that you're talking about are people who have no connection to the real world. Why would they be the ones best qualified to drive our politics? And podcast hosts, listen, as somebody I call this a digital broadcast because I don't want to call it a podcast because I'm embarrassed by 8 billion podcasters that are out there. Any retard could have a fucking podcast. Why would that make them more competent to drive our political discourse? It's like the dumbest statement I've ever seen. But I want to come back to this kind of because Trump did mention about them telling he was disclosed about the Martians and all this stuff like. But Rogan asked him about JFK. Do you know about this part where I'm going with the JFK files?
Trump but now I'm gonna have to go back and watch the rest of this goddamn interview, and I'm really upset with you about it.
You could just see the relevant clips. It's chopped up into small enough pieces so you can get in the segment. Rogan asked him if he got back in, would he disclose the JFK stuff? And he said, yes, he would. He plans on doing it. Rogan asked him why he didn't do it on the first time. He said, well, I looked at it. He said, I did open it up. I did look at it. He opened it up. Okay. But they asked him, I'm assuming he means CIA, NSA, somebody asked him not to disclose it to the American public. Rogan asked why. He said, well, people were still alive. There were names and addresses. And I was like, hold on a second. Who died, first of all, in the last 6 years that is no longer, but you're saying the people who killed the president and caused the coup in 1963, they're still alive, and they're you don't want to release it because it might embarrass them. The people who, again, murdered the president and executed a coup on the United States of America, you don't want to embarrass them because they're still alive. But now that they're dead, it's okay. How does that make sense to anybody? Can you wrap your head around that?
It's probably a thing of recourse. Like, there's probably people that can still be prosecuted. There's probably people who took deals to be like under wraps about it.
Again,
but once they're dead, they can't. There's nothing that can happen.
That's exactly the point. I'm saying people who were responsible for a murder of a president and a coup are still alive and still prosecutable. Yes, we want to prosecute them while they're alive. We don't want to wait until they're dead so we can tell people
they're not going to be prosecuted. It was government sanctioned murder. We all know it was George H.W. with the FBI. He organized the whole thing.
This is a legitimate question. Why doesn't Biden release it now? Why didn't any of these presidents release it? According to H.W. Bush, 41, he mandated that it would be released. I forget the year, but I think it was 2016, 2017, something like that.
I thought so.
They were supposed to be released by law. Now, why wait? I guess he was assuming that everybody would be dead. But again, what good does it fucking do if they're dead? If they're this is not shoplifting. This is killing the president.
Everybody involved are probably protected. That's what I'm saying. Like, they're protected by the government, and they don't want to release it because they don't want people to take justice into their own hands.
Okay, just for the record, there's a little bit of precedent for this. All of the Lincoln files will be made available in 2033, just in case there anybody left over from that administration who was involved in it. Make sure they're dead, and not to embarrass them. I'm just saying there is precedent. So there's that.
Oh, I'm not like the crowd at Madison Square Garden, and you just told the Puerto Rican joke, and I'm like,
boo.
No, I didn't even bother booing. I was just trying to think about what the fuck.
This is from an hour ago from Louis J. Gomez. Comedians piling on to Tony should be ashamed. We make jokes. That's what we do. Also, most of the comics talking shit are terrible comedians who don't actually work.
Okay,
dude, listen.
Talking shit. Wait, well, you got to take apart that talking shit comment. When nobody's talking shit, people are saying that what he said was absolutely not funny and racist. That's not talking shit. That's not like saying, whatever, he's a hacker. It's not like
all anyone is saying is that the jokes weren't punched up. They weren't funny. They were just hateful things to say. No one's saying he's a bad comic. No one's saying what he did was like. Everyone's just saying there were some bad jokes.
Some people are saying he's a bad comic. Some
people are. Yes, I understand that, but I mean, but to an extent, though, again, there has to be some accountability on the side of the people who hired him that need to take some blame for it. Because again, you know what kind of comic he is, though. He is a roast guy. He says super listen to one episode of Kill Tony, and he said significantly worse things. So you have to expect that to come from him still at some point.
Here's the thing: if Mr. what's his name, Heathcliff, if Mr. Heathcliff did not want repercussions for what he said. Next time, say it under the Maxwell Smart, get the fucking cone of silence over his head so nobody else hears it. Otherwise, if you're going to say it in public before millions of people, expect repercussions.
No, I don't
bad.
disagree. I don't disagree that that's the yes. You have to accept the repercussions. Yes, I don't disagree with that.
And
But
that's it. Whoever
Better
that
not
J
be a
guy.
but. No, you just dropped the but. Here's the deal. Everything when you say but, that negates everything you said before that but. That means it's all bullshit.
No, what I'm saying is he needs to understand he needs to take accountability for what was said and where he flopped.
Period. No but.
Period.
No but.
The but was just to the fact that at the same time though, there has to be we also have to point fingers at the people that brought him in to perform too. That'd be
So that's an and. That's not a but. That's an and.
That's
okay, and. Sorry.
He's responsible
My
for what
bad.
he said, and the people that booked him need to take responsibility, and the guy at the top of the ticket needs to take responsibility, and they need to man up and admit the fact that they just don't know what funny is. And,
Yeah, you can keep going. Louis J. Gomez has just within the last couple of minutes had this conversation. Somebody said it was a political rally, not a comedy show. You've been hanging out with gay ass Dave for way too long. And Gomez says he was booked as a comedian to tell jokes at a political rally. Well, we don't know that. You weren't part of the negotiation. You don't. Obviously, he's a comedian. They brought him on thinking he would tell jokes. I'm not sure they brought him on to say.
But he's also a Trump supporter.
Yes.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And also to boot, Trump is not a comedian. He is a candidate, but most of what he says, people are passing off as just jokes.
Right.
So they can't do that, and they cannot consider Trump a serious candidate when it's convenient, and a comedian when it's not.
Yeah.
Right.
Just as a, again, I didn't want to give this all as much attention. Just as a factual statement about Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is an American territory. Everybody in Puerto Rico is an American. So
Yes.
if you claim to love America, you should love all the territories of America, including
really
American
like Puerto
Samoa, everything. Puerto Rico is a American territory. They are all American citizens. So even if you want to get on this anti-immigration thing, Puerto Ricans who come to New York are not immigrants. They're American.
No, it's just so funny that
And they're a lot of fun.
The NRC is pushing all this, and it was supposed to be a great weekend for him, like with Rogan and all this. And what's everyone just talking about? How fucking racist everyone is. That's the narrative now.
It's fun.
Like, great
It's
job,
kind of funny
guys.
though that we've been pointing this out for a long time, and now that it's put on public display, everyone's like, "Oh my god, that's so disgusting." We're all like, "Yeah, hello, welcome to the show."
I want to point out something that very few people are talking about. My former congressman, and I say former because they redistricted, he's still a congressman in Maryland, Andy Harris, had put out there that the state of North Carolina should ignore the results of the people when they vote and just give their electors to Trump. This is a sitting congressman who publicly said that, and no one is like saying, "What the fuck?"
What the fuck? Well, because what he's proposing is absolutely legal, and there is really few people who are surprised by that, because then it's not just North Carolina that has been asked to do this. It's all the swing states have a motion for electors to disregard the popular vote in their state and just give their electoral votes to Trump. And this is, I don't think even the Trump campaign has denied and they've talked about it pretty explicitly. When Trump said, "I don't need your votes, we have the votes already," that's exactly what he was talking about, is the electoral votes, not.
That's what I'm saying. That's of all the things that they keep talking about and bringing up. That is pretty fucking. Well, I don't know if that's fascist because it's not really corporate, but it's authoritarian for one. I know
absolutely.
now Andy Harris, like I said, when he was my congressman, I was at a town hall, and somebody had called him a fuckface. No, something. But at any rate, I went up after that person and I defended Andy Harris, and I said that it was wrong for them to disrespect him that way. This is a town hall, and we should be discussing issues, not name calling. And then I went on to then Andy Harris started talking about anchor babies, and so I said to him, I said, "What is an anchor baby?" And he told me, and I said, "Oh, you mean children are born in the United States?" He goes, "Yes." I said, "So they're citizens?" He goes, "Well, yeah, but they're anchor babies." I said, "No." I said, "Show me in the bill where it says they're anchor babies as opposed to citizens. This bill you're talking about, this legislation, are they called anchor babies or are they citizens?" And he looked at me and he says, "You're part of the PC police, aren't you?" And he called me politically correct, and that's when I lost my shit and said that he was a fuckface.
It's like, fuck this guy. Let's be civil, everybody. This cracker ass bitch up here.
Oh my god, that's racist.
All I want him to do is call citizens and not anchor babies. They're citizens. They were born here. They're citizens.
Right. I don't think it's a legal. I don't think that's a legal terminology. But the point being that if illegal or people here, undocumented people come here and have their children here, their children are citizens, and you can't deport the mother of a child. That's what anchor baby refers to. That's not necessarily a legal terminology, but you know what,
right,
it is being used by people.
But the thing is, first of all, the children did nothing wrong. So to label them anchor babies, no, they're citizens. And that's what my thing is. My thing is like, you know, they're citizens and they deserve the same protection as every other citizen in the same respect. I say, you are, you know, he's a legislator. Okay. And some of these quote anchor babies are in his district. If he can't respect his own constituents, then what the hell is he doing in office?
Gotcha. I don't disagree with what you're saying, but I'm just saying that a lot of these, you're right, they are citizens, but they are being used, and they are not old enough to even have any cognizance of how they are being used.
Right. So we should he should be supportive of them and not. And so one of his answers was that, well, my constituents know what I'm talking about, and I said, excuse me. We're all in your district. You serve all of us, you know, Democrats, Republicans, and independents. You know, it's not like the people who vote for you are the only ones that matter, you know. And he's talking about, you know, being pro-family and pro-life and pro-baby. Well, these are babies and they're citizens, and you're disrespecting them.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, he called me a PC, politically correct, and I didn't
call you. He didn't call you a DN.
No.
Yeah, well, that's a start. See, that's growth. That's progress, as we call it.
Well, the real
Speaking
progress
of growth,
is that
look at the size of that hot dog. Oh my god!
Because I wanted to run against him, and he redistricted, and I said, well, he's not my congressman anymore. He's their problem. He's in the safe district. So,
well, here's the thing, and listen, it's just so we are. The choice we keep hearing about, the choice is this and that and that. The choice really, and I don't think a lot of people understand this. The choice is really between one party that believes that your kids are having sex changes in school without your consent in school, that they believe that the other party is controlling the weather, that they believe in all these kind of like crazy conspiracy theories, and they want to elect a king. And people are dismissing this. Donald Trump went to the Supreme Court and said, if I get elected again, I want to make sure I have immunity for anything I want to do. The Supreme Court said, yes, he wants that. He asked to be made a king if he wins again, meaning this becomes he only asked to be a dictator for one day. No, he asked the Supreme Court to make him a dictator for life. You didn't pay attention to that part, but he absolutely, and it was granted. So you have that, and you have the other party who dismissed that. Joe Biden, the day the decision came down, said, I have that power. They gave it to me. right now he has that power. He's rejecting it. He does not want to be king.
And this is my problem with Biden. That's my problem with Biden. Even if he rejects it, because I reject the concept as well. But I'm also one for teaching people a fucking lesson. Okay, this is what you just signed on for. So now I am king, and King Biden is going to remove the citizenship of Donald Trump. He cannot run. He cannot be a president. And anybody,
I would have gone a lot further, especially if I. Let me just. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I have to say this: if I were Biden at his age, and knowing what he's got in front of him, I would have had SEAL Team 6 go kill the Supreme Court, go kill Donald Trump, and then say, reverse that order. I'm guilty. Execute me. Take all my immunity away.
Hey guys, real quick, give me just a second.
The opinion. The opinion. You made me all white again. No, that's what I would have done, and that's clear that that's an opinion. You don't have to, but to use that to overturn the Supreme Court, we can't have that. Forget about Donald Trump. We cannot have that, no matter who would be president. And Biden was quick to say that. Harris was quick to say that. They reject that ultimate power. Trump wants it. So the decision is: do you want a president for 4 years, even if you disagree with their policies, politics, and all of that you can undo in 4 years, or do you want king for life that you can never have any recourse at all with? And to me, it's not being framed in that way, but that's exactly what the decision is: king or president. What do you want?
Hey, we didn't do the news.
I know that.
George W. Bush probably said one of the most honest things I've ever heard him say. They asked him about authoritarianism and being a dictator, and George Bush says, "I don't have a problem with the dictator as long as I'm the dictator."
My brother's calling me right now to find out if I'm suicidal. I think we've established that I am too much of a pussy to ever hurt myself. I can't. Believe me, if I could, I would. If I had any kind of, I don't know, strength to deal with what it takes to commit suicide, and I'm not.
Well, I'm happy you haven't.
Yeah.
I'm on the fence.
Son of a bitch.
I'm on the fence.
Shut
up. I'm not against euthanasia. I'm for euthanasia.
What does the euthanasia have to do with anything we're talking about?
Well, I'm just saying it depends on how much Matt is suffering. If he's really suffering, I believe in euthanasia. I will help him. If even if he doesn't want to do it himself, I will help him.
That's such a terrible band from the 80s too.
The euthanasia. Well, I mean, they were only 8 years old when they went on their first tour, so I mean, it makes sense.
Well, now they're K-pop, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you're my very first television show back in 1989.
Whoa.
It was on Death and Dying, and I was asking people how they wanted to die, if they could choose their way to die. And it turns out there is a painless, easy way to kill you. I shouldn't put this stuff out there, but there is I don't want to say what it is. There is.
There goes all of our platforms just dropping off one by one as you say more words.
At the time, and Google wasn't around at the time, the internet wasn't even around at the time, I went to the local library to look up the most painless, easy way to kill yourself. And there is a way that. Huh?
It's on stage as a comic.
Yeah. But so then you know what? Pain isn't the only. I think human survival. Even though I am disgusted with the human race, I want to see. I don't want to. I'm not ready to check out yet. Nobody is. Only people that are truly suicidal, not just have suicidal ideation. Only those people are ready to say, I don't want to see tomorrow. I don't even want to see the rest of today. I am curious about what tomorrow holds. So I'm not going to be doing it. If my brother is listening right now, I don't want to call you back, but just know I'm not there. I'm not going to.
I don't want to call you back, but I'm cool. Leave me alone.
Yeah. Well, I don't
This
want to
is-
call him back because I'm going to have the same arguments that I'm having with all my Trumper friends who believe the insanity they're being told. These endless fucking open borders. We don't have fucking open borders. Hello. Border crossings are down from when Trump was in office. You know, you can go fact with these people, and they just want to believe what Sean Hannity is telling them every night, that, you know, things are getting worse on immigration. Immigrants are coming here murdering people and raping people, and they're bringing their rapists, murderers, and drug dealers. No, all my drug dealers are born here.
I
All
was
my
gonna say,
rapists are born here.
I was gonna say all the drug dealers I know are white people. Like,
Yeah.
what?
Yes.
Yeah, it's yeah, I see. I had to adopt this mindset though, just like I just understand that I'm not gonna be able to change it, so I don't let it bug me too much. Because don't get me wrong, because I watch it because of this show, I watch the news and I try to stay up on things, and it really drags me down into the shit. It really does. But I just have to kind of buckle up and be like, this is no different than the asteroids. So just buckle
But
in.
because of the show, do you ever watch Governor's Radio? When you're not on for 15 minutes one time in